At first glance, the ferret looks like a strange mix between a cat, a puppy, and a tiny thief. Long body, tiny legs, endless energy, and eyes that somehow always look guilty. But behind their chaotic behavior is something most people never expect. Ferrets are incredibly social animals that can form surprisingly strong bonds with humans. And honestly, once you live with one, your house never feels quiet again. Because ferrets are not calm pets. They are curious, mischievous, emotional little creatures that seem determined to explore absolutely everything around them. Cabinets, bags, shoes, blankets, nothing is safe once a ferret decides it wants to investigate. Which explains why many owners call them tiny criminals. But strangely enough, that chaos is exactly why people fall in love with them. Because unlike many pets that simply sit quietly nearby, ferrets constantly interact with their environment and the people around them. They chase, climb, hide, steal objects, and sometimes sprint through rooms at full speed for no obvious reason at all. And the first time people witness what ferret owners call the war dance, they usually burst out laughing. It's a bizarre little jumpy dance ferrets often do when they're excited or playful. They hop sideways, bounce around wildly, and crash into furniture like tiny furry maniacs. And honestly, it's one of the funniest things in the pet world. But despite how playful they seem, ferrets are also much more emotional than most people realize. Many ferrets become deeply attached to their owners. Some follow people from room to room. Others sleep beside them, wait near doors, or become visibly excited when their favorite human comes home. Which is surprising for an animal many people still misunderstand completely. Because unfortunately, ferrets often get labeled as aggressive or difficult pets. But in reality, most behavioral problems come from poor handling, boredom, fear, or lack of socialization. And that's important because ferrets are highly intelligent animals. They need stimulation constantly. A ferret left alone in a cage all day without playtime can quickly become stressed and unhappy. Which means owning one requires much more time and interaction than beginners usually expect. And here's something many people never realize before getting a ferret. These animals sleep a lot. Sometimes up to 16 hours a day. But when they wake up, it's absolute chaos. Suddenly they're running, jumping, digging through blankets, stealing random objects, and somehow appearing in places that should be physically impossible to reach. And honestly, ferrets seem weirdly talented at getting themselves into trouble. That's why experienced owners spend huge amounts of time ferret-proofing their homes. Because if there's a tiny opening somewhere, a ferret will probably find it. But perhaps one of the most fascinating things about ferrets is how playful they remain throughout their lives. Even older ferrets often keep their curious, energetic personalities, especially when interacting with people they trust. And trust matters a lot with these animals. A frightened ferret may bite defensively or hide constantly. But gentle handling, patience, and daily interaction slowly help them feel safer around humans. Which is why experienced owners focus heavily on bonding and socialization early on. Diet is another thing many beginners misunderstand. Ferrets are strict carnivores, which means they require animal protein to stay healthy. Their bodies are not designed for sugary treats or inappropriate foods people sometimes feed by mistake. Poor diets can lead to serious health issues over time. And unfortunately, many new owners don't research this properly before bringing one home. Another thing people notice quickly about ferrets is that they're incredibly expressive. Some make soft, happy noises while playing. Some dramatically flop onto the floor when tired. And others stare at their owners with expressions that somehow feel almost human. Which honestly makes them feel less like small animals, and more like chaotic little personalities living inside your house. But ferrets are definitely not perfect pets for everyone. They require supervision, cleaning, attention, training, and lots of daily interaction. They can be messy, stubborn, and unbelievably sneaky. And yet, people who truly bond with ferrets often become obsessed with them. Because underneath all the chaos is a strangely affectionate animal that simply wants play, comfort, curiosity, and companionship. So the next time you see a ferret bouncing wildly across a room or stealing something it absolutely should not have, remember this. You are not just looking at a funny exotic pet. You are looking at one of the most energetic, emotional, and entertaining companion animals in the pet world. And honestly, life with a ferret is never boring. Paw print sparkles.